Welcome back! Oh, you're wearing black clothes from head to toe. Did you go somewhere?
Yes, one of my uncles has passed away, so Kokubetsushiki was held today. It means a funeral.
You were late to return yesterday. Did you also have a funeral?
Yes, it was Tsuya yesterday. Well, this is also a funeral.
Tsuya? Kokubetsushiki? Both are funerals, right? What is the difference?
Well, although a funeral seems to be a somber topic, it is a strong reflection of the culture of the country or region. So it may be a good topic to know Japanese customs and way of thinking. Then let's start with the clothes and belongings when going to the funeral ceremony. Both men and women can wear Japanese or Western style clothes. However, the clothes have to be all black.
Why do you wear black?
Actually, until modern times, everyone wore white clothes. It is said that the change from white to black is due to the influence of foreign cultures, or strains are noticeable when wearing white clothes and so on. Women wearing Western clothes should wear pearls.
What does pearl mean?
Pearls are considered a symbol of tears and are suitable accessories for funerals. And remember, you should choose a short, single type of necklace, because longer necklaces mean prolonging sadness, and double necklaces have the meaning of unhappiness overlaps.
I didn't know that. So, on the contrary, when I go to a wedding ceremony, a long double necklace is good, right?
Good boy, that's right. A wedding is a symbol of happiness, right? So, wearing a double necklace that symbolizes the continuation of the happy event is a good choice. Longer necklaces are also preferred, as they mean long-lasting happiness. Next is about money. You give money called koden to the deceased family. Koden has a meaning of helping the deceased family's certain expenses for the funeral.
How much money should I give?
It depends on the relationship with the deceased and the type of funeral, but the common amount is 10,000 to 20,000 yen. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot to say it. The money you give should be wrinkled.
Why?
This is because a new bill may be considered to have been prepared in advance.
I got it. It means I was expecting the person to pass away, so I was preparing the money.
That's right. So the wrinkled bill means I didn't expect to say farewell to the deceased. I gathered money in a hurry, so I only had old wrinkled bills. Okay, these are the etiquette before attending the funeral.
Oh, I haven't reached the funeral hall yet. But at this point, there are already a lot of etiquettes.
Tsuya is a ritual in which people who are close to the deceased, such as family members, relatives, and close friends, spend the night to say farewell to the deceased.
I see. So it is called Tsuya, all night, because we spend all night with the deceased.
Yes, to prevent the invasion of evil spirits, family members watch candles and incense sticks to keep them from getting extinguished. Nowadays, more and more people have Tsuya as a funeral hall instead of at home. and half Tsuya, Han Tsuya, is often held. The half Tsuya ceremony starts in the evening and ends around 8 to 9 p.m.
That's why you came back late yesterday.
The flow of Tsuya depends on the customs and denominations of each region. Generally, a monk chants sutras, and participants do oshoko.
Oshoko?
Yes, shoko or oshoko is a kind of ritual. Pinch scented powder, roasted incense, and bring your right hand close to your forehead, and repeat this several times. The method is slightly different depending on the sect of Buddhism.
Well, it seems very difficult. I wonder if I can do it.
I get you. It's best to imitate the people around you.
Where should I sit at the venue?
The family members sit in front. Although there are no secret rules, generally relatives sit on the right side of the venue, and unrelated people, such as friends and company members, often sit on the left side. After that, it is common to have a silent dinner party called Tsuya Furumai. But now, due to the risk of infection, we can have Tsuya Furumai. Instead, participants receive a food box and go back home.
I see. So this concludes the first day of the funeral, right?
Yes. Kokubetsushiki is written koku, say, betsu, farewell, shiki, ceremony, in Japanese. As the name says, it is the final farewell ceremony. The content of the ceremony is almost the same as Tsuya. Kokubetsushiki generally starts in the morning. After the ceremony, the bereaved family is ready to shukkan.
What is a shukkan?
It means fixing the casket of the deceased and putting it in a hearse and carrying it to the crematorium. The bereaved family decorates the deceased with flowers. This is a final farewell time.
Oh, I'm getting sad. I want to decorate the flowers with the deceased loved.
I agree. Generally, chrysanthemum ornaments are displayed, but I think the flowers that the deceased loved are the best. You can also add other things that the deceased liked, as long as it burns. Then cover the casket. The casket is carried to the hearse by the bereaved and relatives. General participants watch over it. We arrived at the crematorium around noon. The cremation time is about 1 hour. Meanwhile, the bereaved family and their companions wait for a while in a waiting room.
Sad.
Not always. The atmosphere this time wasn't so dark. All 4 of my grandparents have already passed away, but the atmosphere also wasn't very serious. During the cremation waiting time, I was chatting with my uncle and aunt while eating snacks. Maybe because all 4 lived long and lived happily. After the cremation is over, we do a kotsuage. This is to put the bone in our arm.
Is there a rule for kotsuage?
There are many rules. First, pick up the bones in order from the foot and put them in the arm. In addition, the order of picking up bones is first for the mourners, such as wives and children, and then for the closest relatives. Pick up the bones with chopsticks. It is okay to pass the bones from chopsticks to chopsticks only when kotsuage. By the way, if you do this while eating, it is a strict violation of etiquette.
I understand. Oh, but it doesn't matter because I don't use chopsticks when eating.
All right. After kotsuage, we return to the funeral hall. In modern times, it was difficult to adjust the schedule of attendees, so shichikaiki, the first 7 days of the memorial service, are often held here. After that, a dinner called Shojin Otoshi is often held. At this time, a member of the bereaved family gives a speech to thank the participants for the smooth completion of the series of funerals. After this dinner, the funeral is finally over.
Participants have a lot to do, but the bereaved family representative is the busiest because he or she always accommodates people, right?
Exactly. It is often said that the saddest person is the busiest. So they most likely break down due to exhaustion after the funeral.
Oh, I just remembered. What is the first 7 days of the memorial service?
Good question. It's the ceremony on the 7th day since they passed away. It is believed that the deceased soul remains in this world for 46 days after they passed away. So it's necessary for the deceased to be able to go safely into another world. Aside from that, there are memorial services such as 1st anniversary, 3rd, 7th, 13th, 27th, 15th anniversary, etc.
So many!
Yes, but it's pretty much simplified now. In my grandparents' case, I had the 7th and 13th anniversary memorial services, but after that, I didn't have any more.
By the way, the bones of the deceased are put in the grave, right?
Yes, usually each house has its own grave, so urns are put with their ancestors there. And many people visit the grave. You can always visit the grave, but most people go in March, August, or September. In Japan, it is thought that the soul of ancestors return during the Obon period, that is, in the middle of August. Therefore, at this time we go to visit the graves.
I see.
Finally, let me introduce 3 recent trends. Firstly, in recent years, it seems that the number of people who have simplified funerals or do not hold funerals is increasing. The most common reason is that it costs money. Events such as funerals and weddings cost a lot of money. For other reasons, the deceased left a will that a funeral did not have to be held. Besides, if you don't have any relatives or friends, you don't need to have a funeral.
Well, what should I say? How rational.
Next, I'd like to introduce Hakajimai. Hakajimai is to remove tombstones and urns and then make the place vacant.
What the hell? Why is that? Where are the arms transferred?
The arms go under the graveyard administrator's care with other many arms. In general, graves are passed down to the descendants. However, with a decreasing birth rate and increasing number of nuclear families, the number of people who have no descendants to take over the grave is increasing.
Oh, they can't keep the grave anymore.
I've heard there are many graves that no one comes to visit. In that situation, it will be difficult to keep the graveyard clean. But the graveyard administrator may not remove the tombstones or move the urns without permission. That's why the bereaved family decides to hakajimai before it becomes a grave where no one visits.
It sounds so serious.
And the last topic is 就活. 就活 is an activity for making various preparations to reach the end of life.
Preparations for the end of life?
That's right. End-of-life seminars are held, and many books about end-of-life are sold.
就活 is very popular.
Yes, my uncle, who passed away this time, also prepared photos for his funeral beforehand. Aside from that, he made a list of people for his wife and children to contact when he passed away. And he made agreements for heritage and relics.
I'm sure your uncle was hoping not to bother his family.
I think so too. 就活 reminds us to value our lives with no regrets and to be kind to others.
So 就活 is an activity to live better.
Definitely. Okay. This is the end of the funeral story.
The content of this time was voluminous. But thanks to you, I learned a lot.
I learned a lot of English words too.